I can't hit it. What's the problem with that? Isn't that what we're here for? Is it? What do you mean? When you pick up the bow, are you shooting the arrow or hitting the target? Is it not both? You tell me. It is currently 12:30 in, I guess, the morning. It's 12:30 a.m. and I just had an epiphany. And also I realized that I have not been keeping up super well with my upload schedule, but here we are, right? That's what matters. Consistency. That was, okay, not consistency. Commitment. That was the last video. But anyways, I got this thought the other day at a tennis lesson that I was having. Just for the summer, I started doing tennis randomly. My mom brought it up. I was just like, why not? I have the time. I don't have a job. So, I go there. And the thing about tennis, like a lot of my hobbies, is that it's very technical. You don't need to, it's not necessarily how strong you are or how fast you are, even though that is pretty important in tennis. It's about how well you can apply technique. This applies, for instruments, gaming. These are the hobbies I like, because inherently I'm so bad at them. But through studying and practice and really focusing in on them, I can, get a little better. And so tennis is one of those things. And that's why I like it. But anyways, we're there on the court, me and my coach, and I'm trying to hit my forehands and backhands, and it's been like 3 weeks. You'd think I would have gotten it by now. But for some reason, this lesson just is not clicking. And after a little bit, he pulls me to the side and he asks me, albeit in a very, very thick Hispanic, like Spanish speaking accent. So, I had to ask him again. But he asks me, do you suffer with anxiety or stress? Because he sees me, and on the other side of the court, I guess I am terrified when the ball is coming to me. And I'm shifting around and I'm shuffling, and I tense up. I tense up a lot. That's what he says. I get really tense, and then I miss the ball, or I just completely lose sight of my technique. Like everything that he knows and sees that I can do, it just disappears when the ball is in front of me, because I'm so scared that I'm going to let it fall. And at that moment, I had this epiphany where I realized my entire life doing things, I've been afraid to let the ball fall instead of excited to hit it with the racket. And I'm not just talking about tennis. I think for a lot of people, my age, or just people who have the gifted kid syndrome or overbearing parents, it just comes from that childhood of needing to be the best. As a kid, I got good grades, not because I really wanted them or really learned anything. It's because I just needed to have them to make my parents happy. And whoa. This is editor me right here. Before we get back to the video, what just happened? I know you're probably multitasking or have this on in the background, which is totally fine in any other circumstance, but you need to go back, and in fact I'm going to edit that clip back in to show exactly what just happened. Is that normal? Does that normally happen? I did not know zombies were zooming like that on the horses. I did not know the spears worked for them too. But that was insane. I died to him 2 more times. I'm just dumbfounded. Maybe this is a snapshot thing, because I accidentally saved the world on the snapshot. But it's insane, and he does so much damage. I turn around for 1 second and he shoves me into the hole. What? Okay, anyways, I thought that was pretty funny and like random. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. Thank you. You know, I always mistook that for, oh, I'm competitive and I want to compete with everyone around me to be better than them. But in reality, I I was just afraid of doing worse. Worse than other people, worse than my references, worse than my parents expected me. I was just afraid. And that's what pushed me to do all the things I do. But now it's the one thing holding me back. I guess it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? That baseline fear pushed me so far into this level of mastery where I realize I'm I don't have a lot of real core knowledge or intuition about any of this stuff. I just know the fundamentals. And so fear really determined everything. And now I see it happening again, right? Music is something where everyone's like, oh, you know, you put your heart and your joy and your soul into it. And that just doesn't clock to me. That doesn't register. I don't understand that. I just know playing the right notes in the right time and in the certain way, right? With gaming, you know, when I'm the last one alive and I need to hit 2 shots to take out an enemy, and I'm so scared that my combos won't get off. They just don't. And my mouse is like vehemently like shivering and shaking. You'd think I was out in the Arctic playing with the way I get mouse shakes. And because of that, actually, my friends all complain to me saying that or not complain, but it's like they constructively criticize me that my sensitivity is far lower than it should be. And that's because I've been using sensitivity to filter out my nervous shakes, right? So in the end, fear has always just been holding me back. This has become especially clear now because I'm in college and all my competition is done, right? I'm not competing to get into a college. I'm not competing at one of those like high school club competitions. I'm not trying to like earn any awards with my art. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it for fun and for myself and to grow. The thing I love about my hobbies is that I can grow through them, and I'm bad at them. I'm absolutely terrible. But I know that I can put in the work to grow, and I really want to see that for myself. And so now, putting in that effort, putting in that time, I see clearly how much fear has had an effect on my craft, right? For so long, I was so dependent on that cortisol and that adrenaline to do things right. And that's just not where anything's going to go. That's not where anything good is going to come out of. And especially just seeing tension is something that's, you know, physically manifesting from that is pretty crazy. Because in everything I do, I have a little bit of tension. I have, you know, that leads to me shaking my mouse when I play games, or having bad form when I play the cello, or anything like that. Tension, it takes over, right? And in the long run, that's gonna hurt me. It's gonna seriously hurt me. Mind over body, right? Mind over matter, whatever it is. So I think today's takeaway is just that when you have something that you're doing, ask yourself why you're doing it. And if you're trying to improve, if you're trying to do something for someone else, really just, regardless, look from within. Look for where your motivation is truly coming from. If it's something you want to stick with, right? Fear is maybe not something that is going to take you very far. It's not going to help you grow. It's not going to help you improve. Fear will always be a limiting factor, not an expanding one. And if something you're doing is born out of fear, then you have to change the way you're doing it or cut it out of your life. Academics was such a big part of my life. You know, I got a perfect 4.0 GPA. I got A's in all my classes. I did like advanced stuff. But in the end, I was conditioned by fear to do whatever got me the higher grade, the higher points, which just feeds into an already messed up school system, right? In reality, I should have been excited to learn, excited to go for an education. But now, all I do, even for things that are exciting and interesting to me, I am just so ready to get into that class and just do whatever gets the highest grade and dip, right? Fear right now doesn't really dominate my academic life, but it conditioned this really unhealthy attitude and feeling towards learning, which is a beautiful thing. But now I have bad mentality towards it. That's just ingrained in me because of that fear, because of where that drive came from. So the general takeaway is to look at the things you're doing in your life, assess them, assess where they come from, assess where you want them to go, and if they're important, really take fear out of it and replace it with like love and interest and joy, right? Which are all words that come up a lot. This is something I seriously needed to learn and figure out today, or when it happened, because I've been held back so much and I did not know why. And so this is something I figured out now, and something I'm going to apply to everything that I do. And hopefully if it goes well, it turns into another video and I get to talk about it, and I get to read everyone's comments and experience, and just enjoy all of our collective joy and happiness and experience doing all the things that we're interested in, not afraid of, right? Don't be afraid that the ball is going to fall. Be excited to hit it back. Thank you.